Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be repotting some of my succulents. They have either just recently come to me, a lot of them just came in from the store, so I just went to a local store around here, picked up a plant that I thought was really pretty, and we are going to be planting them into some different pots so I could display them around the house. This one is already planted and nicely done, and I'm going to be setting that up later, but this one is done. I'll show you how to do some of the others. One of the first things that I'm going to be using is this wonderful little plant mat. I'll be placing out this nice little mat that just unfolds. It's got a little Velcro. We'll set that aside so we don't lose it. And this is going to unfold, and I'm going to work on this mat so it doesn't make a mess everywhere. Unfold, and then these corners come together. That's gonna make a nice little container for me. It's extremely easy. I don't know if you can see, I'm just snapping the two corners together. And here, here you can see the two snaps. I'll just bring them together and snap them. And one more side, we'll bring the two snaps together, and then I have done all four. So that has the four sides. And then it folds up and it makes a nice container. Now there are different sizes of this, and I got a bit bigger of a one because of gardening and planting outside, so I wanted it to be a bit deeper, so a lot of my pots, and when I mix my potting soil and so forth, I'll have more of an area to work with without making more of a mess, because it's a bit deeper. For what we're doing today, a smaller one would have worked just perfectly. So I have it up, and then you just work inside of it. Now I am going to be planting this plant here for the day. And actually I might just bend these ones down. It's still gonna stay inside the container, and when I go to try to pick up all the dirt and everything inside this mat, and then I'll be able to just sweetly dump it back inside where I need more dirt into another pot, or back into the bag of soil itself. I have two pots here that I'm trying to decide which ones I think will look better with in these two. These succulents, if you can tell, have a little bit of a brownish color to them, or some people might say it's a little red color. I think that's going to look nicer in just this plain green, because that'll give it a little bit of darkness and some different color breakup. So I'm going to be planting that one in this pot. And I'm going to be doing the large regular succulent into this pot. Now, as you can see, I already have some dirt in here, and this was used this summer. I discarded the flower that was in it for the summer, and so I'm going to reuse the pot for my succulents now. So this soil in here needs to be a little bit more freshened up, and I'm going to mix it with my cactus potting soil so that I can freshen it and relive it a little bit. And I'm thinking of maybe adding this succulent in with this one and having those two, versus maybe just having the one. That's so nice about gardening and potting flowers, is it's a creative idea on what you want to do and how you want it to set up and how you want it to look. But I think I'm going to use this nice little wheel pot, and I think I'm not sure, I might just put this one in here, but and if it has babies, it'll line up around it, so we might just do that. So I'm going to, as I said, just dump this out. I already got some of the seeds out. Now, yes, I could use gardening gloves. Doesn't get in the nails, because as you notice, I do have some long nails, but I like the feel of the dirt and the earth through my hands. So when I'm gardening, I very seldom, unless I'm doing something that's really mucky and icky, or I'm doing something that is a little dangerous, or maybe they might have some cactus or something in them, or prickly, I usually go without, so that I can just feel that soil and have the earth in my hands. It's just a nice, just a beautiful feel. I guess it's a sensory tactile that I like to enjoy. And then of course the smell of the earth is just wonderful. Brings back lots of good memories of growing up and gardening with my mom and dad. All right, so with this, which this is regular potting soil. I'm going to be adding to the regular potting soil that was in there. I'm going to be using Miracle-Gro Cactus Planting Mix, so I'm going to mix those together. Okay. It's really nice. This has a perforated little edge right here that I was able to utilize that fingernail with, and just kind of opening that, and then I opened it just to what I needed, which is just a little bit here. And so I'm going to be taking my soil and mixing it a little bit in with the old soil to freshen it up. And since the roots to succulents really don't go down that far, I'm going to use some of the older potting soil more at the bottom that's mixed in with the new, and then I'm going to go ahead and just use the total cactus potting soil at the top where the actual cactus will be in. So I'm just going to mix that up a little bit there, and then I'll put that back in. I will have a link to all of the products that I'm using today, so that it'll make it really easy for you to find what you need to do your next gardening project. And note, I do get a commission when things are purchased off of my affiliate link. Almost full, but if anybody's planted before, you know, once it gets watered, it'll sink down. Although I do have the dirt that is around the plant, which I'm not sure what kind of dirt that is. So I did fill it all the way to the top. I'm gonna have to take some out to make a, I'm just gonna use my hands once again and kind of press them off to the side, just to kind of make, I'm just gonna make a little hole in the middle. I want this pretty well centered. All right, and this isn't even attached. Just came from a big box garden area. Not even sure what kind of soil this is. I think I'm gonna just loosen it a little and then leave it in there. It looks like the roots are all healthy and good around there, so I'm not gonna mess with it a whole lot or take away. It'll get good nutrition from the new soil that I put in there, which also has fertilizer and so forth in it. And then I do fertilize them on my own too. And we do have a little bit of brown old dried leaves here around it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just trim or take those off. If I could just pull them off, I might have to get my little scissors out. Do you talk to your plants? I do mine. It says that they're supposed to grow happier and faster and more enjoyable if you do, but I converse with them quite often. I greet them and chit chat with them and see how their day is. All kinds of silly stuff. Kind of just act like they're part of the family. Or if it's a person ready to talk back to me, but obviously not. Okay, I'm going to use my little new Fiskars scissors. Now, I've had a pair of these for many years and they've done really well. What's really nice about these is they have a nice little cap on top of them to keep them from getting ruined and rusted. Look at that. Can you see? It's got a nice little cap there. And then of course it has a safety lock. I'm going to take off my cap, and then it has the nice little safety lock. They won't open without me pushing down. It's nothing difficult. Once again, I have very weak hands, and that was very easy to open, no issues whatsoever. And then the spring is released, and I'm able to then utilize them. So now I'm just going to take this underneath here. Look at this. I take it underneath here, and make sure your trimming tools are always clean. One of the things that you can clean them with is just a little bit of alcohol. Rub them on the plant. You don't want it to contaminate between plants, because if one has a disease, then you're going to have it in the other plant. And I'm lucky that I'm pretty sure none of my plants right now have anything. I did have some spider mites on a lemon tree I had. I don't know if you saw that video, but I did use the a treatment of the soapy suds on that, and it cleared those up. But they came in from outside, And these have been living in the house, I'm gonna say for 3, maybe 4 weeks. At first I just wanted to get them acclimated a little bit more to my house and let them get stress-free from the craziness of living in the store. And then in addition to the craziness of living in the store, you know, being brought home to a different house. Who knows how long they were sitting in the department store, the big box store. So I just decided that I'd let them sit and acclimate a little bit in case they were stressed at any point. I wanted to give them an extra little help. And then, I don't know about you, but I just always just don't have that perfect timing to do a lot of stuff. So I have good intentions of going, oh yeah, I'll plant those today. And here we are X many weeks later. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. I do have to believe that I might have had a kiddo or something give this little leaf a little pinch, sadly, but looks really beautiful. I do have some new growth going on inside here. And I think I'm just gonna play with it here for just a second to see where my center is, which I believe I pretty much got that in a center. Might put just a tad bit more of that on top and use a little bit of the mixed. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and soak the roots really well. Don't you love that bottle? That's so nice. It's just real quick and easy. I still want to sit there and pump it though, because that's what I'm used to. But yeah, it's so much nicer on my hands. I'm not going to be, you know, finishing gardening with my hands giving me any issues, because it's a quick, easy spray. Now it's a quick, easy spray just because it's quick and easy and nice that way. But if you have, or you know of anyone that has any hand issues, this is quite the blessing. I think that's pretty nicely soaked under there. All right, and then I'm going to fill this around. I'm gonna have to bring in that other dirt a little bit, because I want that set down in there real nice. Center it well. And then I'm using my fingers to kind of pack in the dirt, just kind of pushing them in and around the plant or the roots itself, and kind of pushing them down in. And then you gotta be careful and try to, you know, you just want to kind of pull it in there, but that doesn't work very well, because then you break things off on this type of plant. I'm just gonna take a little bit more. Do you see how nice that mat is gonna be? This is, I usually just make a mess everywhere and have to sweep and dust, and it's gonna be nice just pouring that all back in there. All right. And yes, I do have dirt on top, but then when I water it, that dirt will just kind of brush down. I have all the roots covered, and then I'll show you another little trick I have to help get those leaves cleaned. Got a little piece of stick in there. I don't want to. Now, if I would have had a nice little those little itty bitty spoons, which are on my Christmas list, by the way, that I sent out to my children, that would have been easier than trying to fit my hands in there. But you really can't. It's kind of hard to put in that little spot there. All right, I think that is nice and potted down in there. And then I'm going to take the back end of a stick and just kind of press it down more to give it some more down inside of there. And then make sure I'm pressing down good. Get all those little holes. All right, so here's my little trick onto getting all of this off that I just poured on top. Not only is it just a little trick, it's a good, you know, dusting every once in a while. You kind of need to clean it up and just give it a little beautiful dust. Yeah, I can use my fingernails like that too. But a little brush. Some people can use a little paintbrush, but I, being the makeup connoisseur I am, have lots of little makeup brushes. And this does look like it's got makeup on it, but it's cleaned, or it's new. It's never been used with makeup. It just was colored or tinted that way a little. So it had a little tint on it, but it's never been used for makeup. So just giving it some nice brush. I can get down inside of each little, in between each little leaf. Fits in there really well. And just give it a little wiggle wiggle. And it cleans it really well. And also, as I said before, that when I put water on it, it'll kind of wash down. But we don't really want a whole lot in there. And if you need a smaller one, smaller brushes work too. Probably depending on what plant you're dealing with, it might work best. Oh, just broke off a beautiful piece. I'm so sorry. Gonna do it a little bit more gentler. That's one of the things that I have a tough time with, is just slowing down and doing things without rushing through. Sometimes you just need to take your little bit of a break and do a little deep breath and mental pause there. I'm going to stick this little leaf back down inside there. And a lot of times that will grow on its own again. And I'm gonna stick this one over inside this pot. I'm gonna make a little hole for it with the back of my stick. And this one, and we'll stick that in there. Let's see if that'll give us a new baby. All right, and then I'll use the bigger one again to clean off. All right, and I'll give it a nice clean spray from up above again. Maybe a little wetness underneath. It'll start settling down. Remember, these type of plants love moisture and some medium type sun, which would be more not full sun, but maybe some half sun where it's coming through a little bit, but it definitely does need some sun. And it loves humidity. So a lot of times people will take little trays and put their little rocks underneath them, and then moisturize the rocks, and the humidity coming off of the rocks as it evaporates from the rocks underneath will keep this in a nice little dome of humidity. I also, a lot of times I will put them in and around in the plant so that it'll just be in a barrier in there. I think if you look in this one, I don't know if you can see, yeah, my little Groot that I got that. My little Groot that I got off Amazon. I'll put the little link to him too down below. So any cute little characters, he just makes me smile and laugh when I see him. So he just makes me a little happy and smiley when I see the little Groot. So I put him here in there. He just like sits. I actually got him for my little lemon tree, but I thought he was a little bit bigger, but he's a little smaller than what I thought he was gonna be. You can see him, isn't that cute? But yeah, so I thought, well, he just looks really cute, like he's just sitting up here on the ledge. But I have him set down in it just a little bit because I don't want him to fall out a lot. But if you saw if you can see the little rocks in there, I do have some of those little pious rocks inside of the plant itself. I'll show you a better picture of him. Maybe sitting on my lap, or sitting on my hand. You can see him, how he looks. And then his bottom is just Planting just gives you any kind of any little thing you want to do. The world is yours. All right, and that is one new beautiful planted succulent. Okay, I'm going to do the green one now with these three that have the little brownish, reddish kind of colors on the top. I didn't mention it on the last, but they do have drain holes, and that's important for succulents because they can't be overwatered. So drain holes almost for every plant, that's almost a must. And a lot of times I will like to put some bigger rocks in the bottom of plants that need to have good drainage like that, so that when the water goes down, it's not actually sitting in the soil and making the soil soggy. It's actually down sitting amongst the rocks, but this will have a good drainage. And then I also put little tray covers underneath so that if it does drain through, I'm not ruining my furniture or the floors. So once again, I'm going to be using a mixture of this old and this new. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of the soil since it's open. I think I have a clump of old roots here, and I'm going to set that aside because I don't really want, that's not really good soil mixed in for my plant, so I'm just going to mix this in. Now, a lot of people would just throw it away, but I just mend it by mixing the two soils together. Now, once again, just scoop it up with my hands, getting to fill all the soil in through my hands, and just filling it up. Gonna need to have some more. And then still need some more, so I'll just pour them out of the bag. That way I'll have fresh on top. Don't forget to subscribe if you like, and anybody else that you know that might be interested in how to plant or just watching planting, go ahead and share. I'm gonna pressing that down once again using my fingers as pressing them straight down to fill in the holes. All right. Press it up against the sides. And my hand over here has about had enough of this. Bag. I'm surprised that didn't give out. As I said, I don't have a lot of strength in my hands. I don't know what the issue is with them, but all right, then we have our three new little pretties. Do you ever name your plants? I do. I talk to them, I nurture them, I name them. I'm not sure what any of these are going to be named yet. One of our plants that we have is a lemon, and its name is Lulu for Lululemon. One of my children's favorite places to be. I have to confess, I have some too. So Lululemon, so Lulu is one of our lemon trees. But I have another lemon tree that I call Jeannie. I'm also, once again, spraying with a spray bottle. Just getting those roots nice and soaked and wet down in there. Give them a good start from down below. Once again, this actually does look pretty good in the underneath. I have to dig it out a little bit more. All right, and I'm going to. Now, usually I couldn't with that last one because it was all one big plant, but I really like to get that dirt up, the fresh new dirt up and around and in between and on top of the actual planted dirt that came with it, because that will give it new start growth of nutrition and new life to the new plant with the new dirt and all the air and vitamins that it comes with in the dirt. I do get the Miracle Grow, so it already has a lot of the fertilizer in it, so it gives it a good start on that. I'm trying to decide if I want to add just a little bit more. Got some of those little preens up there. I think I might add a little more. I'm not the prettiest of planter or gardener. Kind of make a mess, but it's nice to have this little mat underneath of me, so that won't be an issue. Now, one of the other things that I love to add to my plants in decor is rocks. I am a crazy nut for rocks. I know, rocks of all things. My kids do the same thing. And when they find a neat, unique rock, they'll bring it to me and say, look, Mom, look at this pretty rock. And most people are like, it's a rock, but I find beauty in them. Try to find beauty in everything. This summer, I was doing a lot of gardening outside, and I was redoing some of my gardening areas with rocks, and I would try to take the rocks that were prettier and put those on top, or maybe turn them over, or how they were. How do you find an ugly rock? So I had such a tough time with going, oh, this one's prettier, we should set it up aside. When I finally had to give up, because I finally had to just like, okay, just pour the rocks out, what comes, and if there's a extremely unique one, I kind of would set that up on the side or on top. But it's like, how do you pick from all of the beauty to a few of the beauty to decide which ones you're gonna put up on top? So, and I'm gonna brush away. I still need that smaller one on these littler leaves. And like I said, all three of these little brushes are makeup brushes that I had that I didn't use out of a whole set that I had. A lot of times makeup brushes will come in a large set with multiple ones, or some that you just don't use because that's not the size of the shape you need. So it was something I had on hand, though you can purchase specific brushes or a paintbrush, or I wouldn't get anything too fancy or expensive, or even if you have an old makeup brush around the house, you can use that too. Just make sure you give it a good wash, put a little Dawn dish soap on it, and just, do a good scrub. Or if you have a makeup scrubber, brush scrubber, obviously that would work too. All right, and that's all done on this one, and I'll have to clean up the pretty around the outside and dust them all off and make him pretty. Do you ever think of your plants as a he or a her? And when going and naming them, just sometimes I get a feeling of, oh, this seems like a her to me. This seems like a him to me. And that's kind of how you kind of go on the names. I don't know. But I'm gonna water at the top again. What is the funniest thing you ever named or did with your plants? Again, beautiful, nice little spray mist. Keeps them all hydrated and misty. Although they typically don't like their leaves wet a whole lot. But, all right. But I will a lot of times put a nice, beautiful rock in my plants, or maybe a really cool stick or a wooden piece of wood or decorative wood in it. I just love the nature of things. It's the nature that I love with all the flowers and the gardening, and all the beauty of the nature gets to be brought inside during the winter time. And I have quite a bit inside, not to mention just the beauty, but the oxygen and the fresh air and the cleaning of the air that plants do for inside of the house. And it just gives you a little bit more mental peace of it all. So that's always just an extra to it, that you have some peace, some tranquility, cleaner air. It's helping bring back clean oxygen, and it just makes a house just a little bit more of a home. Just a simple little plant. And these are really easy to do. The hardest part, don't overwater. My first year of having these, I had them outside, and they did wonderful. And then it came fall time, and I thought, oh, I don't want them to freeze. Wasn't quite sure how it worked out, and I thought, okay, I'll take these 2 pots in and bring them inside for the winter. And I left one outside, and I was like, well, either it will survive or it won't survive. We'll see how it went. Needless to say, I killed the 2 that I brought inside to be safe from dying, and the one that I left outside grew was safe all winter long in the pot that I left, and came back this spring, grew lovely all summer long. made more babies. Oh, it's crazy. You know, it goes to show you sometimes you just gotta let things go on their own and see how, let nature take its course, I guess. But I brought them inside to save them. I ended up killing them, and the ones I left outside, they ended up surviving. So that was my lesson on my first year. But it is easy to overwater, because if you're not used to not watering something, you're constantly in your head going, oh, I gotta water that, or oh, I gotta water that, or oh, did I forget to water? Is it too dry? But it'll all work out. You'll get it there. And then if you kind of forget, then that's okay too, because you know they're a droughty type plant. So if they always don't have you know, water, and they dry out a little bit for a little while, that's okay. Just water them again when it's time. All right, now I'm going to be cleaning up my mess, and I'm going to, I know you should do that with a towel, but I'm going to put away these, my little snippers, close them up, put the cap back on, and then I put those back out in my gardening bucket outside in my garage. All right, so now the dandiness of this little thing, well, I guess I do have my trash in here still. I'm going to throw away the roots that I took out of the one that wasn't any good anymore, so I went ahead and took those out. And some people might throw this dirt away, but I, being a little practical, a penny saver, if you want to say, I like to reuse and not throw things away or waste money unnecessarily, even though this isn't very much and wouldn't save me a lot. And sometimes I should just get rid of things so it's not hanging over my head that it's such a, you know, I have so much around that's an issue. But I'm going to actually put it in another pot to use for later, because why not? Okay, so I got most of it picked up, but I didn't need to, did I? Because I have a little mat that I can just slide it all in there on. Okay, I'm going to put this little baby over here. If you got any names that you can think of, drop them down below and give me an idea. I have a lot of plants that I need to be naming. Would love some ideas. One here, this one here. Yes, these little ones in the middle. Whoops, these little ones in the middle. Those are called Shrek ears. If you see them, they're starting to, they come up and they're starting to tube around a little bit. So they're referred to Shrek ears because of the way they kind of come in and are in and around a little bit. Oh, here's a good view of one of the Shrek ears kind of thing. Isn't that funny? All right, so now with this, just bring all my dirt together. We open up one of the corners, and we pour it on into the next container we want to use. Okay, now I actually, when I sprayed it, got it a little wet, so it didn't come as clean. It kind of has a little bit of dirt in there, nothing too bad. You can easily rinse it because it is plastic, but I'm just going to leave it as be because I'll have some more later. All you do is unsnap. And fold it back up. It lays flat, so it's a great space saver. Not like those great big, have you ever used the great big, what I would call like a dish tub? I've used those a lot of times, or a big tote to mix my dirt in, but then you have a big tote to deal with afterwards, and what do you do with it? This just brushes off. Then it has that little wraparound, has this to just put right back on it. You feed it through, and you pull it tight. And it just velcros back to itself. Could it be any easier? Yeah. Another one I want to show you that I have back here. Look how adorable my chain of pearls are. A little adorable little owl. Another side note, if you noticed my bottle here, I have a little closed stopper. I just love this thing. It says I love gardening. Now it came in a whole package, and I usually use only this one and just rewash it, but there are others. But it's just cute and nice. When I am gardening, I can take out my drink with me and know nothing's gonna get inside of it. I'm not going to have bugs fly in it or land on it. Dirt's not gonna spray. If I'm mowing, grass isn't gonna get around. So it's just a nice peace of mind knowing that not only is it sanitary without things getting in there, but it's cute. Who can garden without this cute little cap? And it's really easy to do. You just plop it off. It attaches so you won't lose it, which is really nice because that's something I would do. I'd lay it down and forget where it went. And then you just drink out of it and then it just slides right back on. Ta-da! Could it be any easier to have something cute and clean to be able to garden with?